Hello, dear fans, friends, subscribers. This is your host Ram, welcoming you to your daily edition of the Cricket Happening Show. Well, I understand that I could not come in yesterday due to my commitments, so I'm sorry about that. But just wanting to just go back briefly on what happened yesterday. Match was a rain-truncated match between Sri Lanka and Afghanistan, where Sri Lanka went on to beat Afghanistan. Um, by It was the Duckworth Lewis method because of the rain, 34 runs. And for Sri Lanka, the opening start was really wonderful with Kushal Pereira leading the way with a very aggressive canyoning 78 of 81 deliveries with 8 boundaries. Karunaratne made 30. But after that, the innings totally went pear-shaped with the Afghan spinners, especially Mohammad Nabi, totally ruling along with the other spinner as well, and the Sri Lankans were bowled out for 201. But after that, the rain came in, and Afghanistan were given a revised target of 187 runs to win of their of I think it was from 41 overs. And Afghanistan, well, they kept the chase up, but unfortunately, not go. Najmullah Zadran was the sole hope there finally, but Najmullah Zadran, when he was run out, it totally changed the whole picture, and the Afghanistan were they lost the match to the Sri Lankans by the Duckworth Lewis method. And for Afghanistan, the principal scorer was Najmullah Zadran with 43 of 56 6 boundaries. Other than that, the bowling, Nuwan Pradeep picked up his career best ODI figures, which is good to see. Lasith Malinga at the death did a good job, showed his experience, and that was about it. So I just wanted to briefly touch on yesterday's match. Now we look at two matches that happened today. India started their campaign in the World Cup with a win over South Africa by 6 wickets, and it was Rohit Sharma getting on to a century. As you know, Rohit Sharma is a wonderful player, no doubt about it, opener, and he made 122, and India won that match by 6 wickets. This was a pitch which had some extra bounce and zip in it, but I thought India negotiated the South African bowlers well. Especially Kagiso Rabada was bowling with lots of fire. For India, the Bumrah did a wonderful job. Other than that, the spinners were the ones who throttled the South African batting lineup. Other than that, the other match that happened was Bangladesh-New Zealand. Bangladesh-New Zealand, well, Bangladesh were bowled out for 227, and New Zealand definitely, once Kane Williamson was out, suddenly there was a real panic around the New Zealand camp. But finally, it was Mitchell Santner keeping his cool, somehow guided the Kiwis to victory over Bangladesh. And Kiwis are the first team in this World Cup to have back-to-back victories. So let's first have a look at the South Africa versus India match. So as I said, this match which was played at Southampton definitely had a bit of zip in it, zing in it, one could call it, especially for the bowlers, because there was some real extra bounce, and especially when the Indian bowlers were bowling in the morning. I think not in the morning. Sorry, Indian bowlers were bowling at that time. South Africans were the ones who actually elected to bat first on this particular wicket, and they definitely found the going tough against Jasprit Bumrah and Bhuvaneshwar. But Jasprit Bumrah was absolutely on the money. He was moving the ball, he was getting the ball to bowl at some good pace as well. He was heading the batsman, and he was beating the batsman at both ends. Hashim Amla and Quinton de Kock could not do much, and Bumrah actually gave a double breakthrough for India when he first picked up the wicket of Hashim Amla for 6, and then Quinton de Kock was on his way, and Kohli showed some good captaincy, putting on the pressure by getting 3 slips when Quinton de Kock was batting, and Quinton de Kock definitely fell to the bait there, as he was caught by Kohli bowling of Bumrah for 10, 17 deliveries, 1-4. After that, du Plessis had a real struggle against the bowlers, and by the time, not only against the pace bowlers with that zip, and especially Hardik Pandya got the ball to really rise off Goodland spot a couple of times and put du Plessis in a fit of bother, where he actually had to throw his bat away. Vander Dussen, the compact batsman, was giving company to du Plessis. So du Plessis finally was dismissed out of his misery, by the Indian spinner Yuzvendra Chahal, the leggy, who actually clean bowled him for 38 or 54 deliveries with 4 boundaries. Van der Dussen made 22, trying to reverse sweep Chahal. Was clean bowled 20 of 37 deliveries, 1-4. David Miller contributed 31, and as I said, the Indian spinners totally got into the act after Bumrah had given the double breakthrough. Chahal getting David Miller's wicket, cotton bowled for 31 of 40 deliveries, 1-4. Dumini could not make more than 3 runs, with Kuldeep Yadav getting his wicket by getting him LBW. Philip, and then it was the stand of Philip. In fact, the South Africans were really struggling a great deal, and the score ran 135 for the loss of 6 wickets in the 36th over. And then Feluquayo and Morris, the two all-rounders, had to make sure that they mattered the entire 50 overs. And Feluquayo fell after making a good 34 of 61 deliveries, 2 fours and 1 6. He was also a victim of Chahal trying to up the tempo. Morris did a good job. As you know, Morris was not even going to come to the World Cup. So I thought Morris did a very good job with the bat. Also with the ball, later on did a good job. Morris was out for 42 of 34 deliveries, which included 1 4 and 2 6s. And then finally, surprise was Rabada playing a very good hand and seeing to it that South Africa actually went on to play the entire quota of 50 overs. He was not out on 31 of 35 deliveries, which included 2 4s. Not 227 for 9 was the score on the card for the South Africans. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, as I said, he bowled well, 10 overs, 244 with Bumrah. Right through the entire 10 overs, troubled the South African batsman. 10 overs unbeaten, 2 for 35, and he's the bogey man for India, as we all know. Hardik Pandya was wicketless, 6 overs, 9 for 31, but the spinners then got into the act, especially Yuzvendra Chahal, 10 overs, no meaning 51 runs and 4 wickets. Kuldeep Yadav, 10 overs, 146, and Jadhav bowled 4 overs for 16. The Indian innings, well, Shikhar Dhawan was sent back packing early. As I said, Rabada was bowling with lots of fire, and he fired out Dhawan with a brilliant catch. I think it was the brilliant catch was of Virat Kohli. So Shikhar Dhawan was caught by because of the bowling of Rabada for 8, and then Rohit Sharma was joined in by the Indian captain Virat Kohli, and Virat Kohli had got 18 runs of 34 done with 1 4, and this happened. Now this was the real brilliance from the keeper Quinton de Kock, especially to get rid of such a great batsman Virat Kohli. Now this was absolutely sensational, one could say, because Kohli was trying to having a sort of he was wafting away outside the off stump and playing away from the body, and Philip had got the ball to actually straighten a bit, and he got a thick edge trying to run it down to the third man region, and the ball was just dipping in as Quinton de Kock put a full dive forward and plucked this catch one-handed, and the situation was such that the ball was just going away from him, and he picked off this sensational catch to see the back of Virat Kohli, and that was really truly a sensational catch, I would say. So Kohli was gone for 18, and that was big trouble for India with the score reading 54 for 2, and as I said, the extra bounce is helping matters as well. And after that, KL Rahul came in and started forming good partnership with Rohit Sharma, with KL Rahul absolutely playing second fiddle there, but Rohit Sharma was the one who was actually playing his strokes, and he was looking in absolutely good touch there as the partnership went on, and Rahul at least they stabilized the innings as the score went on to 139. So basically it was an 85-run partnership. But then KL Rahul, when Rabada came back for his second spell, he got the wicket of KL Rahul for 26 or 42 runs, 2 4s, and then Dhoni walked in when Rohit Sharma was an absolutely full cry, and Dhoni's contribution was 34. He had almost, it was almost a sort of a formality to be completed when Dhoni got out on 34 of 46 deliveries with two boundaries. But then Hardik Pandya, as we all know, is a natural striker of the ball. He came in and he did not waste any time. He slammed three boundaries in a knock of 15 deliveries of just 7 deliveries and all tracer bullet strokes. And Pandya was not out on 15, and Rohit Sharma had gone on to one more century, and this time he surpassed the former cricket player and also the commentator now in the World Cup, Saurav Ganguly, as Rohit Sharma went on to make 122 unbeaten runs of 144 deliveries with 13 fours and 2 sixes, which saw India to win, and India won the match by 6 wickets. So starting the World Cup campaign on the right note, India getting off with a win. So Imran Tahir once again started proceedings, which was a bit of a surprise because Indians are very good players of spin, but Imran Tahir was really not effective at all against the Indians. 10 overs known for 58. Rohit Sharma went after him. Rabada was simply superb. 10 overs, 139. Morris bowled a superb line. 10 overs, 3 minutes, 36 runs on 1 wicket. Splendid. Feluquayo 8.2 overs, 140. And Shamsi, his 9 overs cost him 54. So that was the pretty much the story of the day as far as India versus South Africa were concerned. Now we go on to the next match which you are talking about, and we are talking about the match between Bangladesh and New Zealand, which was played at London. And let's have a look at what really panned out. It was the toss basically was actually won by New Zealand, and New Zealand inserted the Bangladeshis into bat. For Bangladesh, well, it was not an easy thing for Bangladesh with the New Zealand bowlers bowling in the right areas. And if you look at the Bangladesh card there, Tamim Iqbal contributed 24. So the start was good. It was a decent start of 45 runs given in 8.3 overs. With Soumya Sarkar, really, I thought the New Zealand bowlers had really worked it out. They knew what were the strong areas where Soumya Sarkar was easily scoring. So probably they had done their homework and they saw to it that they did not give him much room to free his arms. Soumya Sarkar made 25 of as many balls with 3 boundaries. Tamim Iqbal making 24 of 38 deliveries with 3 boundaries. But Shakib Al Hasan for the second consecutive match put up a very good score on the board. He was the highest scorer with 64 of 68 deliveries with 7 boundaries, and especially Shakib Al Hasan was showing all his class with his wonderful driving in front of the wicket and his pull shots that he was playing. So it was wonderful to see Shakib Al Hasan wade into the New Zealand bowling. Mushfiqur Rahim was run out for 19 of 35 deliveries, 2 boundaries. Mithun made 26 of 33, 3 boundaries. Mahmudullah, and suddenly there was a bit of pressure on Bangladesh because after the departure of Shakib Al Hasan, there was a bit of a falling away of the innings when they scored at 197 for 6, 179 for 5 in the 38th over, and then Mahmudullah, the finisher, was out for 20 of 41 deliveries. Masarek Hussain was dismissed by bowled for 11. Saifuddin who has really shown that he could be a very good lower middle order or lower order player who contributes. That's the good thing about Mohammad Saifuddin. He has been taken here as an all-rounder. Made 29 useful runs of 23 balls, which included 3 fours and 1 6. Mehdi Miraz was out for 7, Murtaza for 1, and finally I thought Bangladesh did well to reach 244. They were bowled out for 244. If you look at the bowling card, Matt Henry was very impressive, 9.2 overs, nominating 47 runs and 4 wickets. Trent bowled 10 overs, 244. Ferguson 10 overs, 1 for 40. Granholm 8 overs, 1 for 39. Neesham was costly, 2 overs got taken for 24 runs. Santner did his part very well, 10 overs, 141. Now New Zealand were given a target of 245 runs to win the match, and well, if you look at the card there, Martin Guptill and Munro got off to a very good start. 35 runs were added in 5.1 overs, Guptill making 25 of 14 deliveries, which included 3 fours and 1 6. Munro, in a similar fashion, got 24 of 34, 3 fours and 1 6, but Guptill was the more aggressive of the both. And then it was a sort of a stabilizing job which was done by the New Zealand captain Kane Williamson and Ross Taylor. And one would have said probably Kane Williamson would have been a goner much before that, and I thought that was the sort of the turning point of the game, because Kane Williamson would have been out, and Mushfiqur Rahim was the guilty one who actually, in a bit of excitement, he tried to remove the bails with his, instead of putting his hand and trying to remove the bails, he actually elbowed the bails, and that allowed Williamson to escape. And Williamson and Taylor carried on, and they really saw to it that they really put things on a sort of an even keel, one could say, as Williamson and Taylor stitched together a partnership, and things were going very well. And when this happened, and Ross Taylor was doing a very good job with the bat there, and Williamson had got 40 runs of 72 deliveries, which included only one boundary. So he was really playing a very sedate role, which was very important in the scheme of things. But then Mehdi Hassan Biraj, the right arm off spinner, was actually bowled a delivery, and Williamson probably trying to wrist it away, maybe trying to flick it away with his very elegant, with wrist, with his elegant strokes that he plays, but this time was not able to keep the ball down, and Mosaddaq Hussain took the catch, and one could see Williamson how miffed he was after the dismissal, because he knew for a fact that was not the right stroke to play. But nevertheless, Williamson was gone, 40 of 72 with one boundary. Ross Taylor carried on, so the hope was still there with Ross Taylor there, but suddenly there was a bit of panic in the New Zealand ranks. Storm Latham was consumed by Mehdi Hassan Biraj for naught, and then Jimmy Neesham and Grandholm were the crease, with the score reading 191 when Taylor departed. Now, when Taylor departed, suddenly the pressure started building a bit, because Taylor was the one who contributed the highest score of 82 of 91 deliveries, included 9 fours before falling a victim to the Aussie Mosaddaq Hussain. So 191 in the 39th over. It was nothing to worry about. They still had some good batting to come in the form of Neesham, Grandholm and Santner, but definitely the pressure really started building with the Bangladeshi bowlers at the death doing a very good job. But then suddenly it was a spate of wickets with the score on 218. Mosaddaq Hussain, the Bangladeshi bowlers, struck a double blow with Neesham being out for 25 33, 2 fours, 1 6, and Grandholm followed the very next delivery out for 15, caught behind the bowling of Mohammad Saifuddin, who did a good job, I thought, coming into these death overs and bowling good lines. And then finally, as I said, Matt Henry was out to the bowling of Mohammad Saifuddin, who actually clean bowled him, and the score read 238 for 8 in the 47th over. But the problem for New Zealand was that they had lost the wickets, and there was only Mitchell Santner who was their sole hope. But Mitchell Santner somehow weathered the. I'm sorry. So basically, Mitchell Santner actually weathered the Bangladeshi bowlers and finally managed to get New Zealand to victory. 238 for 8 in the 47th over, and they still required 6 runs. But Mitchell Santner actually hit Mustafizur Rahman for a boundary to really stop the panic that was happening in the New Zealand camp. And finally, New Zealand were the victors, finally by 2 wickets. So you could see how close this game was. Santner was not out in 17 of 12 deliveries, 2 boundaries, guiding them to victory. And as far as the bowling was concerned, Mushraf Ahmed Murtaza was costly, 5 was none for 32. Mehdi Hassan Biraj did a good job with the ball. 10 overs, 2 minutes, 247. Also picked up the very vital wicket of Kane Williamson, which really started turning things around Bangladesh way. Mustafizur Rahman, 7.1 overs, no minute, none for 48. Could have been done much better than this, one thought. Shakib Al Hassan, 10 overs, 2 for 47, did his part very well there. Mohammad Saifuddin, as I said, comes back into the death, and he did a good job in getting Neesham and Grandholm's wicket, which really started putting a lot of pressure on Mitchell Santner. None 41, Mosaddaq was an 8 overs, 2 for 33. Ross Taylor got the man of the match award. So tomorrow's match, which is coming up dear friends, subscribers, in the World Cup is going to be the Aussies taking on the West Indies. And West Indies, let us tell you that against Pakistan they dealt with short stuff, and it'll be interesting to see whether West Indies are going to dish out the same fare to the Aussies, and it should be an interesting tussle coming up tomorrow in the World Cup. So this being said, it's about time for me to bid you all a very good night for today. Thank you.